Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America show. It is another great show as we get things launched off here, and we have a wonderful show planned for you. So for all of you regulars, you should know this. For all of you new people, you are in for a treat because we have a great show lined up for you today where we have the Giz Wiz himself, Mr. Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer and Computer America correspondent. And we have him on to, as we do at the end of every month, last Wednesday of every month, to talk gadgets that he's seen and, different conventions he goes to. It's amazing how much tech gear that, he actually gets his hands on, and he shoots video and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're going to have him on. We're going to talk about what he's seen. And, it's going to be a lot of fun because, you can, of course, find all of this at computeramerica.com, where we have a link, or GizWiz.Biz, and right there on the right, non-paid lackey fun by Computer America. And yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. And this week we have topics ranging from babies to thermal lighting to just everything else in between. And that covers a whole lot of stuff. So yeah, and we're going to cover all that here in just a minute. But before we do, I want to, of course, mention a few things, including our website, computeramerica.com, where you will find everything and anything that has to do with the show, including show notes, and anything that we talk about here today will, of course, include a link over to Dick's website. And yeah, if you want to buy it, if you want to check it out, if you want to do more research, it's all right there, easy as pie. Also, check out the live video stream, because not only do you get to see myself, but you get to see Dick, and you get to see the articles and products that we're talking about, as well as, the videos that he shoot. Just another way to experience the show here at Computer America. And then the last thing is the social media contest. Check it out, Computer America, right there at the top, social media contest, and enter to win a Logitech M720 triathlon mouse. Very cool device. Lets you control 3 different devices with one mouse. Yeah, check it out. It's very, very cool. So, with all that said and all of that said long, we are going to just jump right into this. And once again, Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, and of course, host of ABC's World News Now, Tech Guy, Labs, and more. Just all these accolades. He's been around forever, and happy to have him back on the show. Dick, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm the Giz Wiz on World News Now. The host is somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm doing good. And you?
Doing great. I can't believe how quickly we are wrapping up the 5th month of the year. This year is flying by, but doing well all over. So I think and I think we're just gonna jump right into this because, like I said, you have all these different great gadgets and stuff. Although this time, sometimes you do hardware shows, sometimes you do bike conventions, sometimes you do toy gatherings and things like that. But this time you went in a different direction with a baby show. So
the baby show, it was quite fun, and the reason I wanted to go to it, well, 2 things. One, it happened to be here in New York City, and they claim it's one of the biggest baby product shows in the U.S. It's a little different in as much as it's a public show and it's a selling show, so people go in there to buy stuff. But the reason I wanted to go is that CES, there's a company called 4Moms, and every year they have the really techie baby stuff. We actually did it on this show too. They're I forgot. Oh, Moxie, the Moxie stroller. Their Moxie stroller has a digital keypad. The wheels generate electricity to charge your phone as you're walking your kid. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to the show and see what other things I could find. So one of the weirdest was a stroller called the Entourage. And I approached it from the back of the stroller. And I'm thinking, what is this cart doing at the baby show? It had on it an ice chest, safety cones, sleeping bags. It looked like a hammock, a bundle of groceries.
When I first saw the picture on your website, I was like, oh, he's reviewing janitor carts now. That's interesting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes. And then as an afterthought, when you get to the front, you realize there's room for a kid in there. And it's a ride. And someone told me that on one of their web pages, I guess they know that the cart looks kind of like, not like a stroller, that they have an arrow that says insert kid here. But evidently there are 30 different configurations for this cart. It can hold 35 pounds of groceries, 65 pounds of storage in the lower basket, a child up to 50 pounds. But the thing is, you have no idea what this stroller sells for. Or do you? You want to take a wild guess?
I mean, it's one of those things where you slap the word baby on something and it immediately shoots up. But I mean, strollers, I am not an expert. A couple $100, I'd assume, somewhere.
How about $850? Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Now, that is even more than the Moxie that I mentioned from Four Moms, the one that has headlights and taillights and generates electricity to charge your phone. That is $600. This one is $849.99. And there was a fascinating thing at the show, and that's that it was the stroller test track. So here you're going into this baby event and you want to buy a stroller. And I assume that the crowds were there because everything was, everywhere I saw, 20% off, 25% off. Mm-hmm. So people wanted to buy stuff there. But how do you know at a show how the stroller is going to behave? So they had a little test track. You push the stroller up a ramp. Then it went over cobblestones. Then it went over a brick surface. Then it went over grass. Then it went over an iron grating like you would find on a New York City street. Mm-hmm. And then down another ramp. And that place, it was like a roller coaster. People coming from every direction, pushing strollers to get an idea of how this thing worked on these various surfaces. And the funniest was, this one guy with his kid in the stroller. I think they were just out for the ride. The kid was laughing, and the last time I looked, they were online to go around the third time. So evidently this kid liked riding over the gratings and the cobblestones. And
that is a very cool demonstration because, like you said, very smooth concrete does not really show off, just how durable it can be. But this thing is built like a tank, though, and
it is. Yeah. It is. And on their website, you can see it goes into all these different configurations. So a lot of thought and innovation went into it, but yet $850.
Yeah, you're
pretty
going
up there.
You're going to be paying a premium, and for 30 different configurations. I mean, definitely cool one, but it doesn't have all the LEDs and headlights and phone charger. All right, so something else to look forward to, I'm sure in the second generation. But and I see here you also, of course, included the last time Four Moms Moxie stroller as well in this article as well.
Yeah, just so people know what that was.
Right. Did you are they only available through their website? Are they about to bring it to market? I mean, they're at a show.
They are. Four Moms, I think, is everywhere, and I think this company is too. But okay. You know what? I think if you just go to the website, if it's only available online, it'll say so. If not, at the top of the page, I just know this from going all these websites. It's just going to say your zip code, find a retailer near you.
Okay, I gotcha. So very, very cool, but very the Rolls Royce of baby strollers. Very, very cool.
Exactly.
So right, and now this next one, I tried to find a different picture to put up on the. We have these little pictures that we put up for the show so people know what's going on, and I was hoping that they were going to make one where the button actually looked like the gadget from Iron Man, the glowing chest ring, but
Yes.
Unfortunately yet to be made. But what's a smart button for a baby?
This is the company is called Mon Baby, Monbaby. Mon Baby is very clever. It's a little smart button, and it's two parts. One part goes inside the clothing, and then you snap the smart button in. And the company says that way it's one gadget that you use on all of the baby's clothing. So it doesn't have a microphone, doesn't have a camera, but it has several devices in there so that if the baby turns over face down, which is a dangerous situation for babies, it instantly will set an alarm off in your cell phone. It uses Bluetooth, LE Bluetooth. I think it's now called Smart Bluetooth. And also, if the kid is crawling around, you can set a perimeter for it. If he crawls past where you can keep an eye on him, it will set off an alarm. And the thing about this is, even if you have a baby monitor or even if you have an audio baby monitor, it's unless you're sitting there watching it, you're not going to know if your baby flipped over face down. And this is a way that you could sleep with your phone on and the Bluetooth and this paired to the Mon Baby and know that your baby has turned over. And it also monitors the breathing. If it doesn't catch a breath within 15 seconds, it sends you an alarm that it's not detecting breath. So
cool.
that you can, so it's something that you're not going to monitor from afar, but monitor from where you can get to your baby pretty quick.
Right. Yeah. It's turning your baby into a smart device, an Internet Things device.
Exactly.
Which who doesn't want that? And of course, we're watching the video that you shot there at the convention. It comes with a nifty its own smartphone app, and everything is kind of self-enclosed. It's and I definitely do like the idea that it has the ring that you can slip on through any piece of clothing. So it's not like your baby can only sleep in this one outfit. You can turn any outfit into this kind of device. So very, very cool. And so
$100. Yeah, $99.99.
$100.
Yeah, and you own it. I mean, there's no fee or anything. The app is free.
Right.
So yeah.
Pretty.
I did
cool.
ask him. I said, can I use it if I fall down? And he said, we're exploring that, but you can't use this for that. But in the future, we might be thinking about taking our technology and doing that for at the other end of the spectrum.
Right. Yeah. No, it's these little devices, they are getting more ubiquitous, and hey, if you can apply them to babies, you can certainly apply them to to other generations. So awesome, and only $100. So all right, baby. We're all babies right now, and that's perfectly fine. So this next one, magnets. How do they work? But you have here, luckily I've never had to dress a baby. I assume it's kind of like dressing an octopus in a bag. They squiggle and squirm.
Yes.
That kind of thing. So why do magnets come into play with babies?
So the woman who developed it, Lauren, was taking care of like her niece and trying to put on the baby pajamas, which had like 15 snaps down it. And as you said, the baby's crying and moving, and she's trying to do all these snaps. And she thought there's got to be a better way. And she thought, why not a magnetic way to fasten these various baby articles together on the baby? And so her and I'm not sure if they're married, that they're two people from college. They spent 2 years developing this line of clothing called Magnetic Me. Actually, their company's called Magnificent Baby. The baby clothing is Magnetic Me. And I was attracted to it because of the number of people buying clothes there. And I was walking by and I saw this woman take 15 different garments to the register. And I went over and I said, why is this one buying 15? I asked her, actually. I said, why are you buying 15 of these? And she said, this is such a neat idea. And she said, I only have one child, but I have lots of friends who are expecting kids, and I'm doing a year's worth of shopping. But I just love this idea that you put the kid in it and just run your finger down it, and every one of those things just automatically snaps together. She thought it was an ingenious idea.
It really is, because and that's one part of a kid that if you have to change a diaper or you have to do something and get the kid, or give the kid a bath, undressing is just as hassle, it's just as much of a hassle as it is dressing. And this is kind of like Velcro, just pull and peel and you are off to the races. So very, very cool. And like you said, developed by two individuals, and just speaking about this whole baby, convention as a whole, I mean, was it like a lot of big companies showing off their latest products, or were there a lot of entrepreneurs like you were just talking about?
It was a combination of the two of them. I have one. I didn't have a chance to write it up, so I will do it on the next show. But just an example of Gerber got together with Nespresso. Do you know Nespresso?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. To do like the equivalent of K-Cups that make formula. Okay. So there were big companies and there were a lot of mom and pop companies.
Makes sense.
And of course, to me, that stroller company, maybe everybody who has a kid says, oh, what are you talking about? The Entourage, we all know, but so to me, names like Gerber and Nespresso are big, but perhaps many companies there were big to people who have babies.
Right, big players in the baby market, but K-Cups for your kids. Now they just need like an easy bake oven equivalent of the Keurig.
It's a machine like a K-Cup,
right?
To make formula. I'll explain it all in the next show.
Right, absolutely. So right, and of course, any one of these, and of course more that we're going to talk about here in a second. GizWiz.Biz, and of course on the right, Computer America. He has them all right there with handy dandy links. So. And now we're moving away from the baby one, unless you want to brilliantly illuminate
I want to ask you a tech question.
Sure, go for it.
Okay. I have several monitors here, but today's the first day I set up an additional monitor to monitor the live stream. And so actually what you're doing is amazing. So you can see me, we can see you, we can see my website, the videos run. So I just want to know, what software do you use? Because that's a very comprehensive screen.
Yeah, no, it's been a couple years in development, and I will say that for anyone looking to start with what we're doing here, I of course use a software called OBS, Open Broadcasting Software.
Oh, okay.
It's free. I know a lot of people have heard about it. We've talked about it on the show before. Dick, sounds like you've already heard about it. And highly recommended because they put a lot of work into it. And again, it's free. You can't hate that. Okay. But for first timers and new people, I kind of want to recommend XSplit. It's a little more intuitive, user friendly. You do have to pay for it, but it kind of gets you off to the races quicker. So,
you said the right thing because I'm thinking of trying to do a mad show from my studio to colleges and things, and I just bought XSplit.
Right.
And the people who I spoke to said exactly what you said, that OBS is free, but a little more complicated. And XSplit does a lot, and it does cost, but it's not bad. It's like $2 a month or $3 a month or something.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad at all. And again, like I think eventually you're going to want to go over to OBS because even though they're free, they have a big community, so they get new features all the time.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Eventually you're probably going to switch over to OBS, but for now, be happy with XSplit. It's great software. So,
Perfect.
But
Perfect.
yeah, so now of course deviating back to this tea light, and I'm not the best with lighting and illumination. I don't even know what a tea light is, but I like the idea of making it 100 times brighter. So
what is this? A tea light is a little candle, And in case you're watching the live stream, this is what a tea light is. It's a candle like a little wider than a quarter and maybe a half-inch high. So it's tiny. And this thing is just amazing. It's called the Joy Lamp Tea-Powered Candle Lantern, something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's from a company called Caframo. And actually, the woman called me and said, oh, I just saw your show and you love gadgets. My company makes this thing. I want to send you one to play with. So this is all stainless steel. You take one of these little tea lights and you put it inside this device and then close the door. And about 4 minutes later, there are LEDs on this hood that's on top of the lantern. The hood can slide way up so it can become a light for a picnic table or inside a tent. Mm-hmm. But the 8 LEDs are powered by the tea candle.
Oh.
There is a little electromagnetic generator that takes the heat from the tea candle and converts it to electric. And that power is enough to run the 8 LEDs, which is why they say it takes the light from a single candle and makes it 100 times brighter. I mean, it's really ingenious and it's very well built. It's not inexpensive. The lowest I could find it for was $85 or $89 online. It's $107 on Amazon. But it's incredibly well built. As I said, it's stainless steel, and people just just love it.
Yeah, would you kind of classify it as portable enough for maybe camping trips, or is this something
absolutely.
at home?
Yeah, yes, no, portable enough for camping trips. Let me just turn my head around.
Sure.
It's probably 6 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches.
Oh, you got it right there in the video feed. Very cool.
Oh yeah, and I have it on my desk.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody who comes in and sees it, and then in the video I jokingly say, and to power the LEDs, you see these 3 flashlight batteries? You don't need them. All you need is this little candle, and it runs everything for 4 hours. And I put a stopwatch on it, and mine ran for 4 hours and 4 minutes.
Very cool.
So it's really neat, really neat.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it definitely does look well built and all that good stuff. So, definitely, like that's definitely a change from I'm sure as you've seen and we've seen on the show, everything is solar powered, everything is motion powered. So tea candle powered or tea light powered, that is different.
Yeah,
indeed. So very cool. And like you said, you have a link here, obviously $100, and then it goes on sale periodically, but very, very cool. Good, good on your listener for sending that in. All right. So now this next one, it's, we've seen security cameras from big name security cameras in all different shapes and sizes, security cameras for all different purposes. I mean, it's one of the most, I think, flooded, it's really up there next to phone cases, one of the most flooded and crowded sectors.
Categories.
Of tech. But you have one here, and price alone, it stands out. So what made this security camera stand out to you?
Well, first of all, I started with a drop cam, but the problem is a drop cam sends a signal up to the cloud or a satellite and then back down. And I needed it to see when a mail truck went by, mainly because if a mail truck goes by my window, there's a good chance it's stopping up the block to drop off a package to somebody, and also to know when UPS is coming. And the problem with the drop cam is I get the picture back like 30 seconds later. And I wanted something instant, and also to see when someone was coming to the door. So I had an old, I think it ran on 2.4 gigahertz wireless camera, which gave up the ghost. It started flickering and the picture would fade in and out. Right. And I thought, I'm just going to buy something hardwired because my desk is 15 feet from the window. And I don't want to leave my Venetian blind up so people can see me working. But I figured something hardwired would be perfect for me. So I go on Amazon and I see this closed circuit TV pinhole camera for $14. And I figured, God, I'm going to get this. And then I read that it's you need to buy a power source, which was another $7,
Mm-hmm.
and also there's almost no wire on the camera, so I bought a 25-foot extension for $750. So the whole system was under $30,
Right.
and I just love this thing. It is. It's just video. There's no sound. It says that there's no night vision, but the lamppost in front of my building is enough light for me to see people walking around and cars going by. So I'm really pleased with this.
So
and as I said, a total of $30.
Right, yeah. So you hooked up to a dedicated monitor, or
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I have a little 7-inch monitor here, that I also bought on Amazon a long time ago. But what I love about it is it has cable in, it has RCA jack in, I think it has HDMI in. So it's a multi-purpose monitor, but I now devote it to just having it in the corner of my desk so I can see out the front door.
Right. Yeah, and the picture quality, it looks kind of would you kind of compare it to that closed caption television from like gas stations and security
Yeah,
cams?
exactly. I mean, it's not HD, but certainly it's clear enough for everything that I need to see.
Very, very cool. And you even included the power supply here, and of course the connector. So not bad. So $30. There are like you said, you can go with drop cam, you can go with Nest, you can go with whatever other cameras there are, but they're like $80, and they do send it up to the company servers so that they can back it up and do all this crazy stuff.
Exactly. This is the minute it's happening, you're seeing it because you're watching a live picture. Yeah, it's
very,
great.
very cool. So, all right, and and again, for everyone out there not watching, this thing's tiny, like
It's
like
very
2 inches
tiny.
or something.
Yes.
So very, very tiny, but very, very cool. So, all right, now this next one, and I was going through the show notes. I was making up I was getting the show ready for today, and I saw this. And I was like, I want this on my wall in my office. Like, not even on my car because it's so cool looking. But you have here an eye-catching 12-volt graphic equalizer.
Yeah, this is pretty neat. And unfortunately, my second one also gave up the ghost.
Oh,
Now, it's possible that I was using it. Maybe it's not meant to be on 24/7. And I did what you did. So I'll explain what it is. So it's called the Sync Tech Sound Music Beat Activated Car Sticker Equalizer. One of those endless Amazon names. Glow blue LED light voice. Anyway, so it's about 18 inches long and probably about 9 to 10 inches high. They show it in the back of a car window, but that's like a mini Cooper or something. So it fills up the whole back window. But it's $11, and it comes with a cigarette lighter adapter, so it's to be powered by your car. But here at the house, since I do so many 12-volt gadgets, I have a little AC to 12-volt converter. So basically, you plug it in the wall, and at the end of it, it has a cigarette lighter input. And the first one that I bought, it worked for about 10 minutes and then just went dead. The second one worked fine. I actually hung it up on the wall, and I didn't even think about it. And 3 days later, I came in and said, wait, that thing is not blinking.
Mm-hmm.
And the power supply was very hot. And so I'm not sure if the fact that I really wasn't running it from, I don't know, a car 12 volts. I can't imagine that my 12 volts from AC is much different than what your battery in the car generates.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't
be.
Yeah.
But I had left it on for, like I said, 2 or 3 days, and I don't know what burned out. All I know is that the adapter was red hot, and the thing didn't light anymore. Reviews on Amazon, the people who got working samples love them.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say 30% of the people had the kind of problems that I had. of them not working. The thing is, it's $11, and we know with Amazon, it was so easy to send it back. I just went online and I just said, well, I have a friend who loves to tinker, and I said,
well, actually, Dick, I'm going to stop right there.
Yep.
Music's playing. I know you can't hear
okay,
it,
very
but
good. No, I can't.
Yep. But music is playing, and we'll be right back with more about this and the blue LED. I can't even say all that in 15 seconds. We'll be right back with more Dick DeBartolo and, of course, more Computer America right after this.
We are all Brother Wolf. 10 years ago, a group of locals banded together to create positive change. We took animals into our homes, held adoption events at local retailers, and talked to the community about our mission to help build a no-kill Asheville. A decade later, we have achieved so many victories for animals in need. There's been so much progress, yet there's still so much to do. As part of our year-long celebration, we encourage you to become a member of our special Compassionate Circle program. With a monthly donation of $10 or more, you will have behind-the-scenes access to the work we are doing at Brother Wolf. Our goal is to reach 1,000 members because we receive no government funding. Working together, we can help build and sustain no-kill communities. Learn more at compassionatecircle.bwar.org. We are a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.
Hello, and welcome back into the Computer America Show. It is 31 minutes past the hour, and if you're just joining us, hey, where have you been? You can always go back to our website and find the audio archives, the video archives, and catch any part of today's show that you may have missed or that you may want to go back and check out again. We make them available and make that very, very simple. But for all of the newcomers, we have, of course, Mr. Dick DeBartolo, Mad's Maddest Writer, and, of course, the Giz Wiz. So, yeah, and we're talking about these different gadgets and stuff, and we're talking about, sometimes this happens where a device, it's a really cool concept, but at the same time, and this seems to be kind of what you are getting at, and we're going to get into your story about your friend who's a tinkerer, but really cool idea. It's just the end result to try to make it as cheap as possible. Well, the parts aren't always the highest quality. So that kind of seemed like what you were getting at, but
exactly. It was 155 reviews, and it got 3.5 stars. And the people who had it and it worked constantly love it. And as I said, I have a friend who's a tinkerer, and I said, I'm going to send this back. I said, you just want it? And he said, what are you kidding? I can find a way to power those LEDs without using their power supply. So he took one, and the other I just sent back to Amazon. They make it very easy. It just print the label out and hand it to any UPS driver. Yeah, could not be simpler. And
again, there's a reason Amazon is taking over the world, and at $1,000 a share, it really does show. But no, and like I said, though, the idea I think is super, super cool. I was kind of poking around the internet while we were just talking, trying to find a, obviously it would be more expensive, but a higher quality one, because, just like you said, you put it up on your wall. I would love one of these to put up on my wall. When I do the show, I could have it, bouncing behind me in the background. But I mean, I am not having much luck finding, a better built one of these. So maybe I'll find one. Not in that scale. You can get tiny little ones, but not 1.5 feet by 9 inches high. That's a big LED screen. Right. It's decoration and a cool decoration at that. Yeah, exactly. All right. So, all right. And by the way, the 3-day thing totally makes sense. I mean, if this thing was designed for cars, it kind of sounds like, no one really runs their cars for 3 days straight. So maybe it expects to kind of cool off while, you drive. That's my guess too. You drive for an hour, and you might not even have it on for the whole hour, just a show off thing. Right. So yeah. Okay. Still very, very cool, and just wish it worked a little bit better. So, all right. Now this next one. Wow, there's so much going on in that picture. A look at fun toys found at Time to Play Magazine Spring Showcase. So, sounds like another showcase convention that you went to. What's going on here?
The Time to Play Spring Showcase is different than Toy Fair in as much as the toys they show are in the marketplace already or coming within 3 or 4 weeks of the show. So it's things that people can buy for the outdoors and for warm weather play. And one of them I thought was just so cute. They're called Antsy Pants kits, and they're available only at Target, but they're different size pipes that connect together that you can use to build various things like an ice cream truck or a lemonade stand or a pirate ship or a tent. And so you have to buy 2 kits. One kit is the amount of pipes that you want. So you'll need the giant kit if you want to build a pirate ship, or a little kit if you want to build a tent. And then separately, you buy the cover for it. And like the pirate ship, I think the 2 things together come to about $70. But now you have a toy that kids can actually get in and play. And it comes with sails and a pirate flag. And it's just a way for very young kids to have inventive play, that they're running a lemonade stand, or they're selling ice cream, or pirating a pirate ship. I thought it was very cute.
Right, yeah, and none of these are load bearing. This is not a seaworthy ready pirate ship, but it's and I just saw there on the tent they said "draw on me," so it's getting that destructive creativeness out of kids who like to draw on walls, and they can draw on these.
Yes, and then the mother or the parent just throws it in the washing machine and it comes out with a blank tent again, and they can start scribbling on it anew.
Very, very cool. So, all right, and there we go. All right, so I mean, how much were they? Do they have a price for kind of?
Yes, they started at, I think the kit started at $29, and the covers at like 10 or 12. I think the more expensive one was the pirate ship, where you needed the largest kit and the largest covering, and I think that came to about $70.
Okay.
But it had a lot of parts and a lot of, a sail and a pirate flag and some other stuff.
Right. No, very, very cool. And of course, you can buy it at Target. So, there's one of those everywhere. All right. So not too shabby. And I'm assuming that this next one was also from the, not Toy Fair, the Time to Play.
Time to Play. I think the next like 4 or 5.
Egg on. And just real quick, I've been behind you when you have the pie and face one, the toilet water one. I've been behind you every time. Eggs are disgusting when they get on you or in your hair or what have you. I don't know if I can get behind this one, but
okay. Well, so the thing is, if you're very mean, you could put a real egg yolk in it, but according to the box directions, all you use is water.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it's 10 refillable plastic eggs, and the eggs are very realistic looking. At first, I thought they were real eggs when I looked at it. And then the object is, you can play it a couple ways. If you want, you can just fill one of the 10 eggs with water, and then do the spinner, and the one who gets the egg, and then the spinner says 2. That means you have to take 1 egg at a time and slam it against your forehead. And when you slam it against your forehead, that causes the 2 pieces of plastic, very soft plastic, to open up. And if there's water in there, you'll get water all over yourself.
I see.
If not, the 2 half of the eggs will open and nothing will happen. So you can play it that way, or you can fill 4 of them with water and have fun seeing who doesn't get wet. The last person who doesn't get wet can be the winner. I think it's a very cute game for outdoors, and the suggested retail is under $20. And I just knowing how these things work, I'm sure in a couple of weeks, once it's widely in the marketplace, my guess is the selling price is going to end up being like $14.99, something like that.
Right, yeah, and just saw the video of you demonstrating it for everyone, and I was afraid, like, oh no, he just hit himself with that hard plastic egg. Soft plastic makes makes a lot more sense. But no, good to hear it's not a real egg; it's just water. And
it's water.
And yeah, no, and I'm all for products that teach kids at a young age the intricate rules to roulette, because that may come handy later on in life. So
That's right.
very, very good. All right, and now and like this next one, it's I think Super Soakers. I think that people have a pretty good idea what the idea of a water gun, is, especially for summertime. But this also combines a product that I believe that we covered here like 2 years ago or something, or
Yes.
even longer. And so what is this, and who came up with the idea to combine them?
Okay, well, the bunch of balloons is one of the most ingenious products in the toy market. They've done very well. Bunch of balloons, basically, you don't know what they are. It's 35 balloons that terminate in a little screw-on cap, and the object is you could hook it up to a garden hose, turn the garden hose on, and suddenly all 35 balloons fill with water, spring off the a little thing that they're attached to, and seal themselves, because each balloon has a little mini rubber band that snaps closed when the balloon leaves the hose. So you can make 35 water balloons in under a minute. So now they thought, Super Soakers are big. Maybe we can come up with a way that if you're playing out in the yard or at the beach or more at a swimming pool, you could make water balloons and not need a hose. So what they did is that if you just want to use it as a super soaker, you can put it face down in a pool and pull the trigger back and fill it with pool water, and then blast that water at somebody. If you're playing, obviously, not just a passerby. Or
Right.
the other thing is you can fill it with water and attach a bunch of balloons to the front. Instead of screwing it on the hose, you screw it to the front of this, and then you can fill the balloons from whatever water source it is. We did it down on the Hudson River, and I suddenly realized, wait a minute, I don't want to go all the way full, because I don't want these to detach, and then I'll have 35 balloons floating down the Hudson River. I don't want to pollute, and I don't want people to go, what is that?
Right.
But if you're at a backyard pool, you can easily fill all 35 balloons and pop them off, and they'll just float on the top of the pool, and then you can play with them from there. So it's a very clever idea, under $25, and at Toys R Us. Last time I checked, they were a ridiculous price on Amazon. Is what happens when a toy first comes out and it's not on Amazon yet. Someone just buys them someplace and tries to sell them for $50.
Yeah.
So you can check on Amazon, but when I checked middle of May, the best place was Toys R Us, $25, under $25.
Makes perfect sense. And yeah, and again, it's mixing that the great idea of filling up all those balloons at once with a water gun, which I think a lot of people, if you're having a water balloon fight, you're probably gonna be okay with a super soaker in the mix as well. So, and no, very, very cool. Definitely like that idea, and to see it in action again, very cool. Check it out. All right, and now this next one, I mean, cooking, it's a passion of mine. Unfortunately, it did not start with easy bake ovens, or it did not start at the toy phase. It started, just hanging out in the kitchen with my parents. But you have here maybe someone who will get inspired at a young age by cooking. So what is and it's not suggestive, I promise, but what is the number 11 oven?
The number 11 oven, it's a very cute idea. It's for kids, play pretend fun for kids like 2 and up. And it's a little oven it comes with a pizza, and it comes with some cupcakes, and there's a sensor in the oven that can tell you what you're putting in it. So it'll say something like put in 3 pieces of pizza, and then you put them in, and the sensor in the oven can say, that's right, you did put in 3 pieces of pizza.
Oh.
And there are songs and phrases and 16 different ingredients. And then there's a little frying pan and egg. And I asked, can that go in the oven? And she said, no. But when you put that on top of the stove, you hear the sizzling of the egg frying because there's a little sound effects thing. And the oven recognizes that the pan is now on the burner. It's very clever. And it's especially clever because it's under $20. So I think for kids to have some hours of fun, probably learn number counting and some other stuff and have these songs and phrases, I think to have a lot of fun for very little money.
Right. Yeah. And, as you can see if you're watching the video portion, but it seems like Leapfrog had put their label on it as well. So, it's educational as much as it is entertainment, like so many toys are. So not too bad at all. And you say here that there's a pink online only version. So blue
yes,
standard,
there is.
pink. Okay.
Yes.
Not too bad. And yeah, so, and again, just kind of a recap for, just like we did for the baby show, but I mean, how was this toy convention compared to, the other one that you mentioned? Like,
Well, this is a much smaller event. And again, the difference was these are things that you can buy now. And what was interesting is that these little shows tend to attract some more offbeat toys from people who can't afford to go to like Toy Fair, because this was in a little hall. I would say there were maybe 4 dozen companies there.
Okay.
So it's not like renting the entire Javits Center and having 500 toy companies. So it was a way for someone like the next thing. It was
the next thing for anyone out there who has not cheated and skipped ahead. There is this I don't even want to call it a phenomena. It's a trend.
It's a trend. Yeah.
That you take a half filled, and the kids, they use I think the most popular are like the naked fruit juice bottles.
Yes.
Those are the most popular, but bottle flipping, it's a thing. If you look on YouTube, you would be shocked at how many bottle flipping videos there are out there. There's a lot. So someone, I guess, decided to make a game out of it, huh?
Yeah, I met the guys. It's 3 dads who their kids would do that, and everybody, the young kids who do it, they all do it, and then post the results on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought, well, why don't we make a game out of it? So they designed a little kind of foam board that's not affected by water, and they redesigned bottles so that the bottles have a flatter, wider cap. So it's a little easier to play. And they came up with this thing called Cap It. And basically, you get 2 bottles and you get the game board. And the game board has numbers, and you have to flip the bottle, and the bottle has to land on the numbers, and then you start adding them up, and they make it a 21 game. The first one who hits 21 wins. I think it's a little pricey at $20, but my guess is it'll drop fast after they sell some of them.
Right.
But
so, and we're watching you flip this bottle. Not too much success, I will say. Candidly.
Yes, exactly.
But you did it for what appeared to be 4 flips. Do you get it? Like, do you get the trend about bottle flipping?
You know what? If I was alone, I would have done it more. I hate to look like a fool. So what we ended up doing was we stacked 4 of them up, one on top of the other, and then I walked away and like pretended I threw a bottle over my shoulder, and then I said, "Oh, get a shot of that! Look it." I accidentally stacked them one on top of the other. I would play it for a while, but I would not get involved in it. I guess the thing is, kids just want to show up their friends, and they want to see who can do better. And it certainly is a harmless way to pass time.
Right, absolutely.
And there's a touch of exercise involved in it.
Right, and a touch of exercise. Well, I guess they could be heavy, I guess is the thing.
Well, I mean, it's dexterity for the fingers.
Okay, that's fair. So bottle flipping, that's certainly one thing. Now, And I apologize, but did we cover the Lecher micro white noise machine?
You know what?
last month?
We I talked about it, but didn't have one.
Okay, so now you tested it.
Yeah, so now I tested it,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm so glad I did, because I had done a very large white noise machine that came with plugs for many parts of the world if you're a world traveler, and then the Electrofan Micro is a tiny version of that, and I didn't realize how many features it had over the big one. The big one is AC powered or USB powered, so run it from the wall or your computer. This little Electrofan Micro, it has a dynamite speaker in it. Two is it has a built-in battery, and you can charge it and get up to 16 hours of fan sounds, white noise sounds, and an ocean sound. But wait, there's more. This one is Bluetooth enabled. So when you travel, not only do you have a white noise machine for sleeping, but you can play your music through it. Or if you have a laptop with a crappy speaker, you can play the movie or whatever you're watching on your laptop through this speaker. And for its size, it is an amazing speaker. I actually showed it on ABC, and people kept coming down from the control room saying, "Oh, the guys told me to come down and listen to the speaker." And then one final thing is this: as you twist the speaker stands up on the base.
Right.
So you can aim it toward the bed at night, or aim it toward you when you're using it as a Bluetooth speaker for your music, and it's $35.
So you think for the price and in the form factor, you think it's
the way to go.
Right, for $35, like it's a good enough Bluetooth speaker, and then the added bonus is also a white noise machine, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, this will be my new go-to travel speaker, go-to travel white noise machine.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Very, very cool. And for anyone out there who is simply listening and not looking, imagine a hockey puck on top of a taller hockey puck. It's essentially that kind of shape, and looks very, very convenient. And glad that you finally got your hands on one.
Yeah.
So and now this next one, from Bluetooth speakers, which is kind of as cliche techy as you can get, to something a little bit less techy. It looks like someone ran over a tomato with a steamroller. What is this?
Yeah, these are they're not techie, but they were at the Housewares. There's a huge gourmet show in Chicago. Fortunately, they have a press preview in New York where several of the companies show what they're showing in Chicago. And these are little silicone lids that you just drop them on a bowl. They come in all different sizes. Drop them on a bowl, drop them on a glass, and then you can pick the bowl up, even if it's pretty full, by the little tab. Drop it on a glass. You can pick the glass up. It just seals. It makes an airtight seal and watertight seal. So no saran wrap. They have them for fairly large bowls, so you have leftover pasta or leftover veggies. No wrapping anything. You just drop these lids on the bowl or glass, and it's airtight and watertight. You can reheat with them on. They can go in the dishwasher. I was really impressed with these, and I was just walking by the booth, and the woman said, "Don't you want to see this?" And I said, "All right, what does it do?" she said, "Drop that on the bowl." I said, "Okay." She said, "Well, now pick it up." I said, "To take the lid off." She said, "Well, just try to pick it up." And I picked up the lid and the bowl, and I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "This is amazing."
So and to be I'm going to kind of rush you out here in just a minute, but and just to be clear, you drop it, so the act of dropping it from, I assume, like a foot high actually makes the seal, right? Like you don't place it.
Yeah, no, you could do it from like from 4 or 5 inches high. It's just as long as the bowl has a smooth lid, like glasses have a smooth edge.
Right.
It just adheres. I just love it. I said to her, "Can I take a couple of these home?" I absolutely love these.
Yeah, and I even saw on their website they even have, and like they're all shaped like vegetables. I think is the big thing.
Yes,
So
that was their new.
right.
They've been around for like 3 or 4 years, but every year they go into a new thing, and like new veggies was their thing they introduced for the spring.
I gotcha.
But they're great. They're just great.
I gotcha. And even one that fits over a 9x13, so baking ware and things like that.
Yes.
Very, very cool. Glad that we got to it. Now for everyone. It looks like we did not get to one or two more stories, so if you want to check those out, computeramerica.com or GizWiz.Biz, and you can do a little bit of homework. There's more right there. So for everyone else, and Dick, I started to kind of kick you out a little bit early, but we have some things we need to go over.
Okay.
But so if people want to find out more about what you're doing, how's the magazine going, what are you up to?
Let's see. The next issue of Mad Magazine, the August issue of Mad, goes on sale in about a week. But if you go to GizWiz.Biz and click on the What the Heck Is It game, you can play for winning the August issue. And that's kind of a preview of the August issue cover. Mm-hmm. Still doing the GizWiz show with Chad Johnson, my co-host, and that's at GizWiz.TV.
Right.
And still doing Mad and still doing a Saturday spot with Leo Laporte over at Twit. So doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, keep them busy, and that is what we like to hear. So, Dick, I think with that, we're going to say sayonara, and thank you so much for joining us. See you next month as well. But yeah, Dick, thank you so much.
You're welcome. See you next month. Okay, bye.
All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. And there he goes once again, Dick DeBartolo. He joins us every single month, last Wednesday of the month. You can check out more of his stuff right here at Computer America. So in these last few minutes, I, of course, want to talk about a couple of things, or at least a couple of one thing that before we wrap up the show here. And I kind of want to mention the fact that, and it's so hard to kind of dodge all the politics that goes into technology nowadays. But I, of course, wanted to mention actually a story from yesterday that we did not get to go to, and this has bigger implications, of course. And we'll probably get into this more in a later show, but in these last 2 minutes, I want to get to this article, and this is from Business Insider. Oh yeah, computer technology news brought to you by Computer America. All right, enough of that. All right, so this the story is about Facebook and Germany and how they plan to tackle this big thing that has popped up in the past couple months, the idea of fake news, and how it would make social media companies delete legal content. So this is the thing where German law would force social media companies to pay up to $50 million in a fine if they fail to remove hate speech and false news, saying it would encourage paranoid tech companies to delete content in order to avoid the fines. That's right. So the reason I kind of bring this up is it's just kind of to point out like right now, lawmakers across the world, not just in Germany, but in the U.S., they treat tech companies like they are the curators of their own content. They treat Wikipedia as curators of every single article that goes on there, and to some extent they are. But at the same time, it's crowdsourced. It's millions of people contributing that only tens, a couple dozen, or even a couple hundred have to deal with at a time. Facebook is the same way. Google is the same way. We've even had legislators say that Google should not archive and categorize, controversial subjects and matter, even though it's not really Google's job to do anything of the sort. But these lawmakers think that Google is the internet. If it's not available on Google, then no one can find it. That is not the case. That is not true. And just like with Facebook in Germany, they're saying that if you don't allow it on Facebook, then people aren't going to say it online. And that is simply not the case. And as Facebook is rightly to point out, that if they impose these kinds of fines, they are going to write an algorithm that would delete free speech, that would actually hinder legal content, and it would all over be just more of a nuisance to their users than it would be helpful to anyone or anything. So, yep, just wanted to get that one story in there. It's going to be complicated. They are considering it, but I think Facebook is definitely on the right side of this. But we are just about out of time, folks. We are just flat out of time, but I do want to mention a few things, including ComputerAmerica.com. That is where you'll find the show notes, the archives for today's show, if you missed any of it, or anything else, including the contest. So if you'd like to enter for a chance to win a Logitech M720 triathlon mouse, lets you control 3 devices, all through Bluetooth. If you want to win that, go on over to our social media contest, and we will be giving one of those away every single Friday for the next foreseeable future. Check it out, ComputerAmerica.com. And with that, I will say, have a good one, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to tune in tomorrow for more Computer America. Have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.